This is a last minute design that I decided to do. I really should be sewing the rest of the things that I need to bring for that market in next weekend. And instead I'm here creating something new. So I can't take too much time. I gotta do this because if it works and it's fast to make, then I can, make a couple and use that material, and that will give me like 10 products to have at the vendor at the booth. So I definitely want to try to do this, but it can't take too long. So hello everybody, welcome back or welcome to Ali So Crafty. Today I started working on a new idea that I just happened to have a couple of days ago. Actually, I have a curling iron and straightening iron, all these things for the hair, and I was like, I don't have anything to like keep it in place or keep it in there if it's hot. And then I realized that I had purchased years ago this material, and I used this for some casserole carriers I made, and I can link the video here for that. That's a very good tutorial showing you how I made those casserole carriers. But I purchased this fabric, of course, at Joann. So let me it fell. And now, of course, we don't have this anymore, and I kind of started searching online to see if I could find this type of material, but I haven't been successful yet. So if you know of any place that sells, this is ironing board material. This is what you put on your ironing board. So it's insulated. It keeps the heat. So, you can put this anything hot in there, and it keeps the heat. So I saw this in my bookshelf here, and then I said, well, I can use this material to make a curling iron or a flat iron holder, when it's still hot and you have to put it in there because you are ready to go and you just need to put it away, but it's still hot and you don't want to leave it there for travel, spending the night somewhere at a friend's house or whatever, and you just need to bring it with you. I figure this will be a good little project. Let's work on the curling flat iron holder. These are my hair tools. They're pretty much the standard size. There's probably some that are bigger out there. I think I have a brush that is bigger, but these pretty standard. So I'm just going to use these to measure the fabric, right? So this is the piece of fabric that it was already cut like this, left over. This is a scrap, okay, from my casserole carrier, and it was the perfect size. And then I just cut another piece of fabric. I quilted it. I added the batting, but I added a very thin layer of batting because this is already pretty thick. So this is going to be the lining and obviously the exterior. I am not going to stitch them wrong sides together and then turn them. Instead, I'm going to add binding. That's what I decided to do. However, I do have to add another piece of fabric here on the outside for a pocket. The reason is because if you're putting these inside the little holder, the little pouch, and this is hot, you don't want to put the cables inside there hot as well, right? You don't want to do that. You want to keep the cable outside, and so you don't want the cable hanging, right? Hanging from outside of the pouch. So what I'm going to do is add a pocket on the outside, like a slip pocket, Simple. So you add this to the outside. So we need a slip pocket on the outside. And so for that, I cut a little piece of fabric, same width, but like 3 inches shorter than the how tall this is going to be, because it's going to be like this. But I do need to add lining to this, and I am not going to add this lining. I'm going to add just regular fabric. I'm going to cut another piece of this. I'm not going to interface. Should I interface it? No, I'm going to leave it because it's just going to add more bulkiness. But I'm going to cut another piece of like a square, or see what I have in my scraps for waterproof canvas. Make the pocket. Now the pocket, I'm trying to decide if I want to add a piece of binding to the pocket or not. And the reason is because I wanted to kind of have something, a little detail or something that breaks the design, that you can tell that's a pocket. And so here I have, if this is the pouch, okay, I stitch it here and I stitch it here, and I leave this open for this. Now this, this opens automatically. It has, but if I put it inside, it will stay closed. Let's see, let me close this with my clips. Make pretend, right? Okay, so it does. It fits in there perfectly. And so now this cable obviously is not being kept in place with the little clip that it has in there. If I add this here, it may or may not fit. It's gonna be very, no, it's not gonna fit. It's not gonna fit. I need to make the pocket bigger. Maybe if I pleat, I do some, okay, hold on. Or I can do what I was thinking about doing, which is adding like a little snap here. And it kind of holds the cables. Oh, but that's gonna look so ugly. Okay, let's try with the other one. Yeah, those cables are so, okay. So if I try with this, it fits in there perfectly. This one doesn't come with anything to kind of hold the cables in place. But if I add, with this one, I could add the pocket, and it's gonna fit in there. And that looks better. I don't want to have a bunch of cables hanging out. Okay, I have this container full of waterproof canvas pieces that I have used, throughout the years. And these are just scrap material that I could very well have enough for a pocket. Oh, look at this. This is ripstop. I know it's gray. This will work as well. And it kind of matches with the gray on the inside, right? Because it has the gray. It's not the same gray, but that could work. First thing I'm going to do is take the piece of fabric for the pocket, and I'm going to press it, and I'm going to add fusible interfacing. It's always good to add interfacing to your fabric. It helps the fabric last longer. It gives the fabric extra protection and a little bit of shape. Plus, if I'm doing the gray material, which is what I'm gonna end up doing, You can kind of see the gray coming through because this fabric is not very thick. So adding the interfacing will help. So I'm just going to press it here real quick. So the bumpy side, I'm glad I said something. The bumpy side is against the wrong side of the fabric. And I'm just gonna press it here real quick. I'm doing it really fast. I'm supposed to let it kind of sit there for a few seconds, and you're supposed to lift the iron and then press it. You're not supposed to kind of slide it when you add interfacing, but do as I say, not as I do, okay? Sometimes you just don't want to have to do all this. Oh my God. Anyway, I know I'm being lazy today. I'm trying to, the problem is that I'm trying to do this so fast because I only have a couple of hours a day when I can work on this, my projects, and then, you know, I had the brightest idea of trying something new instead of doing what I already know to do and what I already know I need to do. So I gotta break this bad habit. But it's like when you have an idea, you can't help it. You have to do it, you know? And if it's tonight, I have to cut the fabric and get it all ready for the bowl cozies tomorrow and the scarf towels, then so be it. Anyway, okay, I think this is fused. I could feel some bubbles, but I don't feel them anymore. Because that's another thing. You don't want the bubbles to show up, and then with the time, your fabric start having these bubbles because the fusible interfacing is not fusible anymore. It's not fusing. You didn't fuse it right, and so it starts coming loose, and you don't want that. So even though this is like I'm trying to do it fast, this is a very important step. And I think I got it. Okay, so I decided to just leave it the same size. I don't know, I haven't decided, to be honest with you. I have not decided. Okay, what I have decided, like the song says, I have decided to follow Jesus. That's what I've decided. I have decided to follow Jesus. That I have done. Now the rest I haven't decided yet. But anyway, let me bring you back here. So I have my pocket here. I think I'm just gonna, this is what I was thinking. You know how I have the pocket here, right? Like this. Well, if I leave it like this, then it's kind of hard to put the cable if the pocket, if everything is in there. But if I fold this and I don't exactly put the pocket from edge to edge, but kind of like down the center like this, it gives it a little more room. The only problem is that if I fold this, then it doesn't give it the room because it's right at the fold. So, and I'm dealing with the flat iron because it's bulkier. The flat iron is bulkier and it has the bigger cables. So it's a little more, you know, complicated. I like this. I still like to close it like this. I think it's easier to carry as well. It's these cables, man, they're driving me crazy. And if I put, okay, let me add the clips again. You see all the process that goes into designing something, and I could easily just probably look and buy a pattern or whatever, or see what other people have done, which I have, and it gives me inspiration. But at the same time, I want it to be something unique. Like, I want it to be special, for something I created is special. So you see, if I don't do the pocket all the way from edge to edge, like here, but instead I do the pocket like this, it gives it kind of like a little kangaroo pouch here. And then you can just slide the cables in there. Again, this is testing too, it's just that I want to test it, but I want to be able to make it as perfect as possible with a prototype. This is the prototype, but I do want the prototype to be as close as possible to what I want it to look like. That's the whole idea, right? So, okay. Yep, I am going to do this. So I am going to go ahead and, yep, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stitch this in place, actually along the top. No, I'm going to add the binding so that it kind of breaks a little bit the flow, and you can tell that it is a pocket. So let me I have some pink binding. This is X's interfacing. Okay, I have that. This, I'm going to join it at the top, wrong sides together. It's the only one I am going to do. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Okay, let me see what kind of thread I have here, because I was stitching with brown the other day, and I have to put this light here because my other light that I had over the sewing machine broke, and I have to kind of unscrew it or something. I don't know what I need to do, but I need to figure out what to do with it because I use that light a lot and I need to be able to see. So I'm going to change everything to white thread now. Okay, so I went ahead and stitched just the top part of these two pieces together, right sides together. Now I'm going to flip it and I'm going to top stitch it. And I'm sorry, this light is so bright, but like I said, if I don't have a light, I don't see. Okay, so I'm just going to top stitch here the top now. Okay, done. Next, I am going to join now the pockets in the lining. You know, this is going to be like this, so you'll be able to tell that the pocket is there, it's different. But I'm still going to add the binding because I don't want to, the pocket is not that tall. Because I had to flip the position of it. I think the pocket is going to be a little bit shorter than what I wanted it to be, so I don't want to lose that seam allowance, you know. So I'm just going to add the binding to keep keep it as, the right size as much as possible. Another thing I'm going to do is that I'm just going to join the exterior and the lining along the sides here, base stitch it. So let me move it to 4 so that it can stay together. When I put it all together and I add the binding, it will move. I think the exterior is a little bit bigger than the lining, so let me. I stitched it on the sides together first, and now I can see if it is a little uneven, a little wonky here at the bottom. I don't know what I was saying before because my camera died in the middle of it. So I'm just gonna tell you where I'm at right now, and it is that, and I have to move the camera so that I can be charging as I'm talking to you, because otherwise the cable's over there. But anyway, it's a little wonky here at the bottom, so I'm still gonna let me see which side is the longest. I think the exterior is the longest, so I'm gonna stitch it along the lining. Yeah, I'm gonna stitch it along the lining, because if I have to then trim it off and make it even, it will be easier for me to do it that way. So that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, I have my piece here. Okay, so the next thing is the pocket, and like I said, I'm going to just add a piece of binding on the top here, and wrong sides together. So this is the wrong side of the fabric. The ripstop doesn't really have a right or wrong, so that's good. But if it did, then you will put the wrong sides together, so that way you can see the right side and the right side. Let me grab the bindings that I have here in my little closet. So I purchased, the extra wide double fold binding. Again, oh my God, everything is like you can't just find anything anymore. You have to buy everything online. So eventually I'm gonna buy more in bulk, most likely, or make my own. But for right now, like I said, I'm trying to make this pouch. I'm testing, and so it's okay. And I mean, these things are not expensive, but it doesn't come with a lot either. So I'm just gonna cut a little piece, and I usually like to cut it a couple of inches bigger than what I needed, so that I can have a space to fold it. But even though in this case I may not need that, because all these raw edges are going to be hidden in the seam of the pocket. But one thing I'm going to do, though, it's to make it easier on me, I'm just going to stitch it together on all 4 sides. So I have it here, and I just want to make sure that I pick the widest side, either top or bottom, doesn't matter, for the binding. And yeah, I'm gonna pick, I mean, you gotta look at it and make sure that you don't have any like this, it has fabric sticking out. So, but this side is nice and smooth. So I'm gonna pick this side for the top. And I usually like to swap my foot for my 1/4 inch with guide foot that I always talk about. But I don't think it's gonna be necessary right now. And like I said, yeah, this is gonna be fine. I'll be able to see this. Now here it is, and let me see if maybe if I change the lighting so you can see it better. I'm sorry. Oh, this light is kind of okay. There you go. You see, that's way better, right? Okay. Sorry, this light, if it bothers you, I know it bothers me too. Okay, perfect. So now what I'm going to do is just place this pocket over the exterior. And the pocket is a little bit bigger, but it's okay. It's going to be like, it's going to be like this. It's going to have like a little kangaroo pouch, as I call it. So I just want to make sure that it's, straight, obviously. So I am going to measure the distance here to make sure that it's all even and straight before I stitch it together. I don't want it to be crooked. Okay, sorry this whole time. Okay. So what I did is that I measured from the top to the bottom, and I kind of drew 2 markings here to make sure that it is very even. And I am going to stitch the first side first. Okay, one side first. I'm sorry, the first side first. Yeah, of course. I'm not gonna stitch the first side second. Anyway, one side first. Okay, and okay. Then I'm going to do the same at the bottom, on the other side here, but then it's going to kind of align, along the raw edges. And I don't want to, so it's gonna have this kind of opening. It's not gonna be flat. It's not gonna be smooth against the exterior, but it's okay. There it is. So as you can see, I have this, right? So what I'm gonna do is simple. I'm just gonna fold this right here at the bottom so that it's straight, and I can actually maybe even fold it nicely like a pleat, something just so that it is flat. Maybe try to find the center here. Yeah, you see something like, so we find the center, and I can press it. Perfect. Okay, so I created a little pleat there. So I'm just gonna stitch that in place. So that's how it looks. Okay, so when I fold this, I'm still gonna have room in there to get the cable or whatever. So it just created a little, about an inch extra room. Okay, this is working out. This is working out. This is looking good. This is looking good. Okay. Enough singing. Next is just trimming off any of the excess fabric, excess threads. I am going to leave it square like this. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave them all square. And once I do that, I'm gonna add the binding. And so this is the part where I'm going to show you if I do that and I do this, or I can do one and then I can do the other. Okay, this is the part I'm going to show you, kind of like I create a little handle with the binding. But let me go ahead and trim all that off and have it ready. What I'm going to do next is add the binding all around the edges, okay? And I have to remember to add my tags because I always forget. And I probably should have added it here. What I tried to do is add it with the binding, but I didn't. And I am not gonna take this apart right now. So I'm gonna add it on the side when I add the binding. But the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to add the binding on the bottom first. And I'm going to start right at the edge. I am not going to leave any, maybe like a quarter inch extra. Okay, and I'm just going to open like that, add my binding. Okay. Yeah. Let's try this. Let me try this. So, and of course, as you can see, I have a bunch of binding hanging here left over. Actually, I can't move the camera because it's still charging. This is ridiculous. Okay. No, this is actually, okay. I know what I'm gonna do. I want this, and then because I use the binding to join it. But you know what I'm gonna do? I keep changing my mind because you know this is creative process here. You know, we're creating. So I'm going to add the binding right there at the raw edge on the bottom. I do want to do that. Do I? Or maybe I should just do this. But if I do that, then I'm not going to. I think my mom just made coffee. Oh, yes. Yeah, no, it's not gonna look good. Okay. Yeah, let me do that first. Let me just join the binding to the bottom. I'm not gonna cut it just yet. I'm only going to add it to the bottom first. And then I'm gonna fold it and decide at that point if I need to cut it or not. That's what we're gonna do, but I'm gonna go get some coffee. I'll be right back. False alarm. There was no coffee. I don't know where I smelled it, but I do have some coffee here still. So anyway, so okay, let's do this. Let's stitch this bottom part first. Okay, and we'll see what happens. Consider liking this video and subscribing to this channel if you have learned something today. So I stitched it. Man, the lighting doesn't help, does it? But I cannot. Okay, so I went ahead and so I stitched it only at the very top part, where closer to the fold. And I'll tell you why in a moment. You'll see why in a moment. So if I fold it in half like this, then I can continue with the binding on the side. But I'm going to cut this binding here. And I'm going to start again from the edge, fold it. Okay, so I'm gonna stitch this in place together. That way when I add the binding it's easier. And I'm going to start right here, but I'm not gonna leave that. I'm just gonna fold it so that I can hide the raw edges. Okay, so let me stitch it in place first. Okay, there I have it. It's joined only on the sides, not on the bottom. I could actually stitch it on the bottom right now, and that way I can close it off right there. And now I'm just gonna add the binding on the side. And I made the binding a little bit longer because I'm gonna fold it in that corner. So yeah, I'm gonna stitch here, and then like I said, I'm going to add the binding here, and I'm just going to, I leave like half an inch extra binding to fold it like this, and that helps me hide the raw edge and it looks finished. But yeah, I'm gonna stitch the bottom now. And I like doing it like that because you have the double stitching. So one secures the binding from opening, and then the other one closer to the edge secures the bag. It's very thick though. That's one thing I noticed. This material is kind of thick. I probably shouldn't have to quilt this exterior. Probably wasn't necessary. But anyway, it's fine. My machine can take. But I'm just noticing that. You know, I noticed that, but it's all right. It's all right. Okay, let me do that. Okay, I added the binding. Probably should have used pink thread, to be honest, but it's all right. I mean, it's good. It's not bad. I mean, but you can kind of see the thread and the binding here. For some reason, it moved around. But anyway, I'm not gonna kill myself over this. Here's what I'm going to do next. Let me show you. I had to unplug it really quick just to show you this. Hopefully it will be enough battery to show you. Hold on, let me fix this. But at this point, I'm just going to add a snap. And so I'm taking my fashion snaps, the dies, and my heavy duty table press. And oh, I didn't add my tag. Oh my God. Why I keep forgetting to do this? I'm just gonna have to add a tag. I still have some of these left. Okay, good thing is that this, I have enough room that I can add the tag up here. I can probably get it under the sewing machine and stitch it, or even here. I can probably do it there. I can probably do that. Oh my God. No, it won't let me. It won't. Oh my God. Well, again, I don't know where I left off because the battery died. But I know I think I was talking about the tags, right? So I was able to add the tag here over the binding. I don't know, I have to put a little sticky note on my sewing machine or something. Add the tag, add the tag. For some reason, I always forget that. But anyway, I added the tag and I added the fashion snaps. And so I want to show you the final product. This is empty, okay? It worked out absolutely perfect, you guys. This was a God inspired project because it was so easy. Anyway, so here's how it looks. And I added the snap here, the fashion snap. Okay, so it can be carried like this, or if you're in a bathroom and you need to hang it somewhere, you can just hang this on the towel bar, the shower rod, in your closet. I don't know. Anyway, perfect, right? But this has an extra function. I'm show you in a minute. So here it is. Now remember, we did all the tests with this flat iron, which is the bulkiest that I have, and it kind of tends to stay open. So if it's hot, it goes in there perfectly. Okay, so now I have all these cables that are driving me bananas, like they say up north. Or at least they used to say up north in the 90s. I don't know. Anyway, so if I want to put all these cables here, I can, because of course it's uncomfortable because I'm standing up and I don't have, it's easier if it's on a table. So of course, if I'm on a table doing a better job, I can, but they fit. I put it in there a minute ago and it fit. Okay, perfect. But say that it doesn't fit, or you have something else like hair clips or something that you want to actually put in there instead of the cable. Okay, you take this and you wrap it around your cables, and now the cables are held in place. And it serves two functions. When it's being used, you hang this somewhere, but if the cables are too bulky, or if you have something else that you need to hang, that you can put in the pocket instead, then you use the little handle to keep the cables in place. So yes, I am definitely going to be making several of these in the next week, in between the bowl cozies and the scarf towels, for my vendor show, which is happening in exactly what days? In 8 days. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. Now, if you want me to do a step-by-step tutorial on how to make this, let me know in the comments. I may consider doing like a full-blown, like step-by-step tutorial showing you everything. If you want, let me know down in the comments, and it might not be done in the next couple of months, but I can definitely work on that. Let God's blessing manifest in your life today, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.